question.
Yeah.
In one of your slides, you show a data center with running exclusively Cassandra, and then it replicates to another data center where you're also running Spark and something else.
Okay.
Whatever. Does it mean that when Cassandra is replicating the data between data centers, you can have semi-real-time analysis on the data?
Yes.
So there's some hooks that you can.
This is the slide, right? Oh.
Yeah. That one.
It does asynchronous synchronization. This comes out of the box.
Yeah.
If you buy DSC, yeah.
So the analysis can be run at the time that replication is happening?
Yeah.
Awesome.
You can run your Spark jobs in the analytics cluster. But that uses Solr heavily, and you write Spark SQL. They encourage you to write Spark SQL right there. And if you write Spark SQL, it uses secondary indexes. And the problem with secondary indexes is because secondary indexes cannot be maintained centrally, it has to hit, n number of nodes divided by the replication factor to actually find where the data is, because your data is not partitioned that way. And in my opinion, that's not the right pattern of querying. You're just abusing the data model to fit into this SQL world because you're used into SQL world.
So would you not recommend this combination of Spark and
I wouldn't, but people from Cassandra would, and they want to use this simply because Spark is the next hype. The funny thing is, if you, I've been following Cassandra. I mean, Robert and I worked for Global Collect at one time, and there was a guy. Some of us were actually sent to Oracle World, and one of my ex-colleagues went to Oracle World. He came back and he said, "Well, Cassandra is the next best thing. We have to use Cassandra within the company." And at that time, Hadoop was also a big hype. And if you see the slides from Cassandra 1.2 and on all that 1.x series, you will see, oh, Cassandra's best friend is Hadoop, and now they say Hadoop is dead and all that nonsense. They say we don't want to be associated with Hadoop. But the funny thing here is they don't even really understand the it's sales gimmicks. That's what sells, because you see out of the box Spark integration, and they encourage, say, hey, you.
In case of Facebook status updates,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that would be the primary key? Because the data times and one node would be very busy.
I have no idea what Facebook is using it for, to be honest with you, because I've also, here in this very same room, we also had a Neo4j presentation, and at that time they were saying Facebook is using graph databases. So Facebook is using all kinds of databases. I don't know for what application they're using what, but I can give you one example, which is Netflix, because this is what I know. I'm going to talk about things I know and not about things I don't know. In Netflix, they use Cassandra not for storing all the actual videos that you watch. That is actually stored in Amazon's S3, but all the meta information about all the TV shows and all the movies and all the videos that you can see, that is actually stored in Cassandra. And that's what they are using Cassandra for. And for them, consistency is not a big problem. Why? Because let's say in people from one corner of the world, let's say North America, gets to see the latest data and not people in Europe, they don't care. And so does, because for them it doesn't really matter. Yeah, if you see that TV show in the list right now or after 5 minutes or 5 seconds, yeah, they don't care. At some point, if you see that TV show in the list according to your country's legal policies that is allowed, for them is fine, good enough.
But is it for Netflix the case that they read more than write? Because they write the metadata once and half people read it. So it's not really best for Cassandra.
Well, that is also true, but I do believe that they also store all, as I said, these were only brief conversations I exchanged with people when I went to this networking event. I know that they store all the meta information, but they also store things related to the user reviews and comments and all that, so they can run the, yeah. so that they can run the analytics bit in the analytics cluster. Any more? Yeah?
Say, when data is being replicated, is there some sort of sharding happening? So, say I have a node with 10 gigabytes and there's another node with 100 gigs. How's that going to be replicated? How's the capacity shared?
Capacity sharing does not happen in Cassandra. This is something which is I would say, drawback of Cassandra, but people may not, other people may disagree. Well, if you see a Hadoop cluster, right, at the time when Cassandra and Hadoop were friends, the funny thing with HDFS is that you can actually have information about, in the you can actually have information about how much amount of memory and CPU lifecycle CPU power is there in each and every node in the worker nodes. And in Cassandra, they assume that all the nodes are similar, and similar in terms of processing power, similar in terms of storage. So they do not take into account that, let's say if there are 10 nodes in this cluster, and one of the 10 nodes have got very little data compared to that of other node. So let's say, yeah, you are going to replicate into all these 3 nodes. This node doesn't have data, and it says, yeah, I cannot write it because my disk is full, my disk space is full. Then what they say, yes, what you then do is you actually go to a cloud service. Here's what they want you to go and spend your money on. They say, yes, because it is very difficult for you to manage these kind of things and do an upgrade, in one shot of all your nodes in your cluster. So you go to a cloud service and then you outsource all this problem to a cloud service provider. So in short, it does not know how much memory is available in each one of these nodes. It does not know what is the processing power of these nodes. It assumes that everything is, consistent and equal, and the configuration is exactly the same across all the nodes in the cluster.
So the requirements of the entire cluster require a certain capacity, and the node cannot comply with it. Is that node dropped out, or
that node dies? Yes, that node is left to die, and then it is up to the system administrator to actually see on the ops center that the node is down, and you bring the node up yourself.
So it's not like it keeps trying.
No. Yeah. Is that all? Okay.
How much is used to apply at the moment?
Actually, in Netherlands, I know ING is using it heavily, thanks to 17 of my ex-colleagues who went into ING and started using it. And I can tell you that Aecon is also using it within, simply because, hey, one financial services company is using it. We are doing it again. We are also doing it.
We want that big data. We need Hadoop.
Yeah.
We have no idea what Hadoop does, but we want Hadoop.
Yeah, that's the kind of, and the reason why ING is doing it is because a lot of other banks, like UniCredit Bank, has already implemented Hadoop, and UniCredit Bank and 2 others. I don't remember the names, but they just see other parties using it and they wanted to do it as well, because they see that this is fit for running. This is their ideology. When Cassandra started to market their product, they marketed themselves as a data store fit for aggregations. So if you're talking as an aggregate store that is just holding massive amount of data, really suitable for big data analytics, they said, okay, we want to do all these analytics, cool. We want to write all these cool Hadoop jobs or MapReduce jobs or Spark jobs. So then Cassandra was a nice candidate, but I do believe that it does have a lot of limitations, and it is also wise for everyone who's involved in a Cassandra project to know the strengths and the weaknesses, so as to make a consistent choice, or sorry, a well-educated choice.